You've hit play on the Screen Companion, where we'll help you pick something for movie night. We're talking the middle episodes of the second season to The Wire. In the second part, we're covering episode 5, 6, 7, and 8, which are Undertow, All Prologue, Backwash, and Duck and Cover. Our ground rules for this talk: no politics outside of the world David Simon portrays, no actor names to refer to their characters, no discussing later seasons, and no discussing actor appearances in other media. John, you did such a great job the first installment. Keep it up.
I'm trying.
So, how do you feel about the structure of The Wire, the way they pop in and out of storylines? Like, how do you think they do it better than something like Lost?
They know where they're going with it, unlike Lost. First and foremost, negative things I could say about Lost. The characters are well written. They have a clear-cut vision of what's going to happen, versus, like, Lost, who did not.
And would you say that carries you through some of the scenes that you might not be totally into in the show?
I would say it does. I don't know if there's scenes I'm not into at all, though.
It sounds like you might be a bigger fan than I am.
Ooh.
But more than halfway into Season 2, what do you think of the tempo of the main plots? We got the special detail, the Barksdales, the Docks. Any of them feel like they're progressing too slow or too fast for you?
I was thinking that it was going kind of slow, and then realized that, like, by the time I finished this group of episodes, it was, A, only 8 episodes in, but B, also 2/3 of the way through the season. At first I thought it was going too slow, but then when I stopped and thought about it, no, I think I'm wrong. I think it was going at a good pace.
Yeah, this show really works well on looking at things in hindsight. It's like one big setup, and then once things start to pay off, it's like, oh, whoa, oh, so that's what was cool about that previous episode, and oh, remember that scene? Oh my god, I'm feeling it all over.
Oh, it's coming to me.
Let's start with this main story arc of Jim McNulty and the investigation, where McNulty goes all the way to New Jersey to talk to Eastern European trafficked women in order to ID his floater, but to no avail. Giving it up along with his bad habits, he unsuccessfully tries to patch up his marriage and ends up in a depression. Meanwhile, the special detail conducts surveillance on the Eastside and combs through the checker data for missing shipping cans on the docks. The investigation hits pay dirt when it connects the Sabatkas, drugs, and human trafficking to a central boss that they don't know, but we do, is the Greek. On this probable cause, the titular Wire is granted. Hat in hand, McNulty is brought onto the detail by Lieutenant Daniels and finds a renewed sense of purpose. John, what do you think of the beats of the investigation so far? Like, which group do you like the most? Would it be Carver and Herc on the East Side drugs, Freeman, Bunk, and Russell watching the containers, or Kima and Prez following the prostitutes?
I feel bad for Kima because she's following prostitutes is getting her in trouble with her wife. I'm a big fan of Herc. He does so much with so little. They're almost comic relief, right?
Oh, they definitely are. That whole Kojak thing he does, going undercover with a toothpick.
Yeah. The toothpick. He had to do it because he needed a prop. He had to have a prop. And then they got that durable field-tested wire that they destroyed, almost immediately?
That's an example of how they're both completely opposite of a duo like Freeman and Bunk.
Mm-hmm.
They borrow this bug, and they get the bright idea to put it in a tennis ball. Why not just tape it to the end of a baseball bat?
Anything, right? Like, they could have come up with anything other than putting it in an object that is meant to be thrown, that someone's going to throw.
Heck, they could have put it under a stair or under a rock, something that people don't normally want to play with.
Yeah. But nope. Nope.
And then, I don't know about you, but I was shaking my head at Carver. he made some progress since last season. He did some dirty stuff. He's being better. And then he's out the money on borrowing that bug, and it's on his credit card. And then they make up that CI to recoup some of the cost. It's like, oh, buddy, what are you doing? You're going in the wrong direction here.
He's got $1,200 on his credit card. But to be fair, it would have been $1,500 without the industry discount.
And this happens a lot, where you got these dynamic duos, and one of them or both of them are enabling each other. Herc's a bad influence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're totally right about the duos enabling each other. Bunk was enabling McNulty. He knew he was out drinking, but he still took him out for more drinks.
Well, yeah, because they're life partners.
They are.
When McNulty's having a hard time of it, the bunk needs to know. Even though it was for the right reasons, but it was really bad for McNulty to get back on a case, wasn't it so sweet that Bunk went to bat for him with Daniels?
It was sweet, because, like you said, they are life partners. Unlike Bunk and Freeman, who I think are just legitimate real-life brothers, because the way they just go at each other, it reminds me of my siblings.
Wait a second. Are you saying you're the Freeman?
I don't know. I've never worn tweed anything. Or pinstripes, so I can't be Bunk either.
Well, among your siblings, is there anybody that screams one of the characters on this show?
I don't know. I think my brother Sean is Omar sometimes.
I guess that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Unless, being salt of the earth, you might be making a gay joke. In which case, maybe you're trying to besmirch his reputation.
No. I'm just talking about smartass who's violent.
But with all these iconic duos on this show, Kima and Prez is the one pairing I wish they developed more. Something about her being more physically capable, but he's good at crunching the numbers. Their backgrounds are so different, and they have no history the way McNulty and Bunk, or even Carver and Herc do. There's a freshness in their scenes I want more of. I like them together.
Definitely, because Prez is kind of green compared to the rest of them, too.
Especially with the field work.
Yeah.
And it's also so cute how he doesn't want to go to strip clubs undercover because he's married and he shouldn't be looking.
Oh, yeah, it's the baby face.
He's so whipped.
He's such a baby boy.
So far, do any of the details of the investigation sound unbelievable or silly?
No. I like to think that's good writing and not I don't know anything about police work.
Usually I would agree with you, but I do have one matter I want to bring up. There's a scene where Russell gets coffee with a dock worker because the investigation has stalled and they need to work on getting informants. The dock guy tells her that nothing gets tossed anymore regarding the offloading of shipping containers. Then the reverse shot is her having that aha moment. Really? That's what breathes new life into the case? That there are computer records they can look into? If this was 1995, I'd buy it. But in 2003, how does a smart detective like Freeman not consider that? That was a moment where I was ahead of the detail, and I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be ahead of Freeman.
Well, you're a modern cop, and they're old school cops.
No, wait a second. I really feel by 2003, people were getting smart to the digital age.
You know what? Yes, I'll give that to you. I remember being on the internet in high school, and I graduated in 2001, because I'm an old man.
I do remember that time. I would say it was somewhere in the 90s, where if somebody said, hey, you can look at naked pictures of chicks on the internet, I'd be like, oh my god, you can? Where? What site?
Oh, man.
I can print it out? No way.
I'm going to do that and get in trouble later. Yeah, definitely. Like, one class was just like, go to whitehouse.gov, don't go to whitehouse.com. I'd be like, haha, I'm going to whitehouse.com.
I never did.
I think it was blocked on the computer somehow or something. I don't know. I was good at two shoes in high school, so I was like, I'm not going to do that here.
Oh, I do remember I wasn't intentionally trying to look up smut, but they filtered so many websites that even had a pseudo-sexual sounding address. And so you type in something to research a paper at a school computer and it would say you're blocked. Potentially erection setting pages on this website.
That's some official sounding lingo.
Well, that's the way I interpreted it.
Oh, okay. Your words, not theirs. Oh, I was really hoping it were their words.
Become an active listener by joining the Screen Companion. Subscribe on YouTube, hit us up on X, and our Facebook group. Let us know your favorite episodes and what topics or films we should tackle next. Further support the host by buying his novel, Self-Recognition, a futuristic detective story, available on Amazon in print and digital formats. Now, back to the show. How do you feel about the scenes involving the officers' personal lives?
It gives it levity. It's nice to know that they're not super cops. Everything's the case. At the end of the day, they're still working a job. McNulty basically lost everything in his personal life. That's why he needs the job at this point. Prez can't go to the strip club because he's got the wife. Kima can't go to the strip club anymore for the same reasons, but she's like much more vocal about it.
But those scenes aren't uppers when Kima's talking to her wife or Daniels is talking to his.
No, they're not. As an audience, you want to see the case get cracked, but ultimately, they got to make time for family, too. It's that hindsight thing of looking back of like, yeah, they can't be all about the case, can they?
That's what I used to think. But after watching these episodes, I was iffy on McNulty and his ex. And not the idea of it, but the actual scenes of them together. The point was driven home for me with Daniels and him having trouble with his spouse over staying with the department, over leaving to go into law. I always say give me some non-investigation stuff with the characters, but when the cases and underworld scenes are so engaging with The Wire, I don't want to devote any of the cops' time on their personal drama. Give me a hint here and there, like McNulty driving drunk and hitting an underpass column.
And then redoing it.
You know, show me where they're at, but I don't want scenes at the dinner table. The cops specifically, I'm talking about, but the docs are a family drama woven into the cop show, so I like the personal moments there.
Definitely there, yeah, I'll agree with that, because you just got to see all the dumb shit Ziggy's getting up to.
So much.
Unbelievably dumb shit.
And it's like every episode of these middle episodes is him doing some really dumb stuff. What's your favorite scene out of these batch of episodes involving the cops?
It's got to be every time Daniels is just talking to the room. Having them all together is great. It just feels right.
Something about that level of teamwork, it reminds me of what I like about Star Trek.
Yeah, it's the bridge crew. It's the meeting. They're in the ready room, deciding how they're going to attack the Ferengi docks, I guess.
Paramount Plus is coming out with a lot of crap these days. Why can't they come out with a Wire Star Trek crossover where all those actors are on the crew? Oh, I'd watch that.
Oh, it'd be so good, yeah. Stringer Bell would be... Well, Stringer was already in, I think, a Star Trek movie that we don't have to talk about ever.
Well, at least according to our rules, we won't.
I think, out of human decency, we shouldn't.
I'm a little surprised that you didn't mention what is my favorite scene with the cops. So he's not a member of the police, but it is related to one of McNulty's cases. Omar giving testimony on the witness stand, and the cross-examination by the lawyer on the Barksdale payroll. They ask him how old he is. He says around 24. Like, I don't think he knows the exact number. Not only do we get some backstory like that, but I love how he maintains his agency compared to the other thugs. Like Bird, the guy Omar is testifying against. The moment he was arrested, he became powerless. He couldn't grab his gun. He was at the mercy of the court and his lawyer, Avon too, and his court scenes. They're completely toothless, but Omar coming to court. Get ready.
Omar coming.
He's not going to shrink on the witness stand. He's not naked without his shotgun. He's still got his wits to take on the suits.
Yeah, he's attacking everybody in that scene. He attacked Bird, he attacked the lawyer. He likened to what he does to exactly what the lawyer does.
Mr. Little, can I ask why you came forward in this case?
I told the police what I know.
Were you offered anything in exchange?
Like what?
Were you arrested? Were you going to be charged with a crime, and by testifying, did the police agree to drop those charges?
Nah, man, ain't even about that.
How many times have you been arrested as an adult, Mr. Little?
Sure, I done lost count. No, don't have to take it personal.
Possession of a handgun, possessing a concealed weapon, assault by pointing, robbery, deadly weapon, possession of a handgun again, followed by violation of parole on weapon charges, followed by 1 count of attempted murder and use of a handgun in commission of a felony.
That wasn't no attempt murder.
What was it, Mr. Little?
I shot the boy Mike in his hind parts, that all. Fixed it so he couldn't sit right.
Why'd you shoot Mike in his hind parts, Mr. Little?
Let's say we had a disagreement.
A disagreement over?
Well, you see, Mike thought he should keep that cocaine he was slinging and the money he was making from slinging it. I thought otherwise.
So you rob drug dealers? This is what you do?
Yes, sir.
You walk the streets of Baltimore with a gun, taking what you want when you want it, willing to use violence when your demands aren't met. This is who you are. Why should we believe your testimony then? Why believe anything you say?
That's up to y'all, really.
You say you aren't here testifying against the defendant because of any deal you made with police.
True that.
That you're here because you want to tell the truth about what happened to Mr. Gant in that housing project parking lot.
Yeah.
When in fact you are exactly the kind of person who would, if you felt you needed to, shoot a man down on a housing project parking lot and then lie to the police about it, would you not?
And look, I ain't never put my gun on no citizen.
You are amoral, are you not? You are feeding off the violence and the despair of the drug trade. You're stealing from those who themselves are stealing the lifeblood from our city. You are a parasite who leeches off
just like you,
the culture of drugs. Excuse me? What?
I got the shotgun. You got the briefcase. It's on the game, though, right?
Yeah, we really don't get a lot of Omar, but everything we do get this season's pretty good.
It's quality and quantity because of how long the episodes are.
And it's the resolution to something that happened all the way back in the first episode, which was that witness that Bird killed. Like, I bet you half the audience, when Season 2 first came out, they're like, wait, who's Gant? And back then, we didn't have all the wikis about the show, so they're probably scrambling like, do you remember who Gant is? Who did Bird kill? Why is Jimmy here? Why is Stringer here? Why is Omar here?
What's happening?
You're not going to know any of that just from Season 2. You have to remember Season 1.
You gotta watch a YouTube video because it's been a while.
And they bring back Bird for that one scene.
Just to be angry in the court.
So the second big storyline this season is Frank Sabatka and the Greek. Frank's feeling the pressure from all sides. His bid to get reelected as treasurer is in jeopardy. There's a proposal to increase automation at the docks at the expense of manpower. Nick has gone full drug dealer, sitting on a stoop. And the cops are tapping the union office's phone. Also, Ziggy doesn't get the clue that he sucks at being a gangster when he needs Nick to smooth over a debt to Cheese, one of Prop Joe's guys, over a screwed-up package. Not only does Cheese double the amount owed, he also destroys Ziggy's car, Princess. Only through the connection to the Greek is Nick able to get Cheese off their backs. This spurs Nick to sell drugs, much to Ziggy's chagrin, since his cousin is so much better at it than he ever was. Before I really get into these questions about the docks, I'm curious, John, have you ever named any of your vehicles?
My very first car was this 88 Royale, and I called it Rosie.
Where'd you get the name from?
I just thought Rosie Royale was a really good name for a car.
Why was that the only time you named your car?
My few cars after that just really didn't lend themselves to names. It was like a Dodge Shadow and a Pontiac something or other, and I don't know, what do you call a Dodge Shadow?
Alec Baldwin?
I was thinking something along that lines, but I didn't know if I loved that movie then.
When I drove from California to Virginia, I figured, well, hell, I'm going to be on the road by myself for many miles. I guess I'll finally name my car. And I named my Ford Focus Carmen Karina.
What? Where did that come from?
Well, you know how much I love puns.
Mm-hmm. So Carmen.
Yeah, Karina.
Oh, I didn't even think about Karina as a... Were you that bad a driver?
No. I think I just lived in San Francisco and LA too long. I had to come up with something ethnic.
Oh, that's fair.
Carmen didn't break down in the middle of the desert, so that was great. It all worked out. Once you've named your car, it's not like you can stop using the name once its purpose is over. You know, once I got to Virginia, once in a while, I'll still think of it as Carmen.
I missed the winters with Carmen and crossing the desert.
But back to the docks.
Over here, shipbird. What the hell happened to you?
I fell down.
How many times? Let's walk.
Pop.
Walk with me, Zig. Boats break for us. That pier comes back online by next spring. More ships, more work.
Yeah, great.
What the fuck are you about?
What?
Is that my son lighting $100 bills like an asshole in a bar full of working stiffs? The fuck is that?
Just a smile.
A smile?
Yep. Smile. You want to hit me again, Pop? Go ahead. Take a shot.
Where you come by that kind of cash? You know you ain't had the days.
Oh, definitely not. It's because my father's in the unions. Fuck that.
Seniority prevails, Zig. It's the only way to keep it halfway honest.
I know. I ain't complaining.
I wish I could give you more. You don't think I want to throw you more?
Oh, you throw plenty.
It's just, Christ, Zig. Maybe if I'd have listened to your mother, because she's the one always
Pop,
talking about you should do
it's
the
cool.
community college like your brother.
Pop, Pop, don't. You want to know what I remember? Do you? I remember you. Uncle Jerry, and Uncle Walt, P-Pop. All sitting around the kitchen table talking shit about this gang and that gang. Who's better with the brake ball? Who could turn it around faster? Who's lazy? Always a fucking argument, right?
4 Polacks, 6 opinions.
I remember when yous all went down to picket them scabs at Covington Piers. How Jackie Taylor got run over by the police car in the middle of that whole goddamn mess. I remember when the Prosecco fell during that windstorm. You remember, right? Killed Fat Rick dead.
Yeah, what else you remember?
Everything. Everything.
There's a lot of stories centered around Ziggy in the middle of the season. After Frank, who do you see as the focus of the Stevedore arc? Is it Ziggy or Nick?
I feel like it's Nick. He's putting in all the work. He's trying to keep Ziggy in check, which is, I think, what we all want. Ziggy's such a good character because of how infuriating he is.
But considering how tone-deaf he is, this is one of those suspension of disbelief things where how did he make it this far without getting into more trouble or getting killed? They build up this backstory of him being a lughead. it works for the season, but then you go, how did he make it to 20-something, however old he is? It's like he saved all his stupid for this season.
I've grown up with dumb people. A parent protects them.
That do some really stupid stuff like Ziggy does, getting in trouble with the law potentially.
Well, at that point, for Frank, it's self-preservation, right? Ziggy goes down. Frank goes down.
Why, you think Ziggy would roll on him?
I don't think Ziggy's smart enough to not roll on him. He would definitely, on accident, sell out everybody, because he's an idiot.
Yo, I would never give up my dad or my cousin. I'm not going to tell you about the drugs and the smuggling of women in containers. You're never going to get that out of me.
Exactly. That's 100% how that's going down. And Frank knows it.
I think it comes down to the complexity of the characters. I have sympathy for Ziggy, but I don't think he ever zags when I think he's going to zig. I knew you'd like that. But Nick, there's a lot more going on. We see his folks, we see his girlfriend and kid. He works straight sometimes, and then falls into the dope game. He's more interesting to watch, and I'd argue Ziggy is the small body orbiting the larger stories of his dad and his cousin. Do you agree with the disproportionate amount of the humor coming from the union scenes?
I think that's just who they are as people. And it's nice to have the humor, considering the season started with 13, 14 dead girls.
If you were to rank the major arcs and the amount of humor, what would it be for you?
Yeah, I'd have to say the Union Boys would be first. Someone convinced Ziggy they could beat up a guy twice his size. The Street Gang, there's some humor there, but that gets pretty rough sometimes. So I guess the Street Gang would be last, and the cops would be second.
What's your favorite stevedore scene?
I don't want to say the duck.
You can say the duck.
But I'm going to say the duck.
Set the duck up for people, because they won't know what the hell we're talking about. A duck?
Ziggy goes to visit a friend of his grandfather's, and for some reason buys a duck.
Like, what do you think is the point of the duck?
I think Ziggy doesn't know what to do with his money. He brings the duck in, pretends to be blind, and buys everybody drinks.
And he gives the duck a diamond-encrusted collar.
It's making the jokes about how he's not the first guy from Baltimore to try and love an animal.
And not to spoil it, but something happens with the duck that doesn't happen in these episodes we've watched so far. Those frickin' wire writers. There's never just something put in for the sake of it. It's gonna lead somewhere, folks. So if you're like, I don't care about this damn duck, you will.
Everything means something. Be it Frank not paying his phone bill, or a duck.
And it's usually sad. It's hardly ever happy in The Wire.
No, it's always sad. You know, it doesn't end well for the guys you know are going to be a single season arc.
They do show some of these dot characters in future seasons. So it's not entirely true that they're a one and done.
Some of them, yes.
They never get the spotlight again, but we do see a few of them.
Yeah.
I like that Frank Sabaka temper rising up when he meets the Greek to say there's a wiretap at the office. He's yelling at the Greek, all of them squished into that tiny cafe booth. They could easily have Frank whacked, but he's going to say what's on his mind. I can't tell if Frank is stupid like his son, or is he so desperate to fund the union's efforts that he can't afford to whisper?
I think it's desperation. There's a purpose to it. It's not crime for the sake of crime.
And the way they focus on his finger, like he's trying to make a divot in the table with it.
Yeah, he's trying to poke through the table.
How'd you interpret that look on the Greek's face when Frank was yelling at him?
It felt like the Greek had seen it before and was trying to remember how to react. He's an older gentleman. We see him murder somebody callously earlier in the season. So he's definitely been around, and I'm pretty sure he's seen people like Frank before. I think it's just more of a put on the face for him, because I know the fastest way out of this.
Oh. I thought of it more like because of the Greeks' status and being at the top for so long, having somebody yell at him the way Frank does, he's not quite prepared for it. He still needs Frank, so he's not going to kill him. But then it's also strange for somebody to yell at him and for him not to do something about it.
I would say he's the type of guy who, once he doesn't need someone, had they yelled at him, he's going to kill them. This is what I would guess, having no prior information.
Yeah. So then, the third arc, we got Stringer Bell and the Barksdales. Worried that he'll turn rat, Stringer uses outside help to get to D'Angelo on the inside and make it look like a suicide.
My man, that bullshit ain't on you. It ain't, man. I mean, up in here, D knew he had to stand on his own. You know this.
Man, fuck him. He knew when he hung himself how we was gonna carry it. He knew when he did that we was gonna be in a moment like this right now. He knew that. Nigga did that shit to hurt me, man. But, you know, man, D was just fucking weak. I tried to crimp him along since he was a shorty. Nigga, you see me, I tried to bring him up, man, bring him along.
Yeah, you was good to him. You was real good to him.
I was.
Yo, man, it's sad what happened. That shit is sad. It is. But the boy almost rolled on you that one time, and, you know, he get to thinking he can't do the years in here. He might have could have rolled again. Who knows? I'm just saying. It might have been for the best.
Things are just as rocky on the west side, as fiends are leaving in droves for better drugs than the Barksdale crew can provide. One solution is Eastsider Prop Joe, willing to give them high-quality dope in exchange for territory. When Stringer takes the deal to Avon, he rejects it flatly. John, how much do you think Stringer pretends with others? Like when he feels bad for Avon dealing with his nephew's apparent suicide, was any of that genuine?
I don't think so. I think Stringer is a sociopath beyond belief.
Aw, dude, when he has D'Angelo's kid in his lap, at the same time he's formulating how he's going to kill D'Angelo. Ooh, oh, that's chilling.
Yeah.
Just that look in his eye.
This is business. It's got to be done. Because he's aiming for the top. It's like you said, he's in community college. Even tricked his teacher into how to solve his drug problems.
Stringer is a character that gets by on his mastermind qualities, but when I dig into his actual personality, I don't see what makes him tick. When he has D'Angelo killed, I don't know if he was really glad to see that almost snitch get done, or was he conflicted? And Avon, I know why he wants to be a gangster, he values the rep, but what's on Stringer's mind? Why didn't he go to community college sooner?
I want to boil it down to one word, ambition. Especially growing up life on the streets in, maybe there's a better term than using life on the streets, but growing up in Baltimore, in bad neighborhoods, sometimes life doesn't go the way, obviously life doesn't go the way you want, and I think maybe life got in the way. These are things he always wanted to do, but now he's finally able to do it because he's worked his way up in this organization.
Yeah, being Avon's right-hand man put him on a certain trajectory.
Yeah.
When I watch his scenes, I'm interested in the wheels of crime turning, but Stringer himself, he's stone-faced most of the time, like that Spock t-shirt that shows a dozen emotions, but they're all the same scowl.
Mm-hmm.
Prison people taking it that bull hung his own self, right?
Seems so.
My cousin always worked clean. Not my business. I know. But did your man Avon even know about it? You on your own here, huh?
You're right. It ain't none of your business. And if I were you, I wouldn't want a word of this mess up in Avon's ear.
Baltimore niggas off the hook. I swear. all y'all.
And I really like that actor, and I like what the character brings to the show, but it feels so plot dependent. What do you really get out of Stringer's character?
I might be seeing things that aren't there. I like the cold calculating of it. I think it's one of the reasons I really like AI, where they do awful things, but they're calm about it the whole time. It's the thing to do without bringing the emotions into it.
In these first 2 seasons, do they chip away at all at what makes Stringer this way? I just remember him running with Avon, but that doesn't really explain String.
No, I don't think they do. Do they even get into that once he's like, not to give anything away, once he's bigger, so to speak?
There are a few moments between him and Avon that speak to a little bit more of their dynamic, what it was growing up, but not really the heart of Stringer's whole deal. Like Avon, if I remember correctly, especially in the first season, we get more details about his family, how members of his family were in the mix, and so it just felt natural for Avon to have his name ring out on the streets too. It almost makes Stringer just look like a hanger-on. He's a successful crime boss. It's really because it was the path of least resistance since he had that in with Avon.
He's ambitious but lazy.
Yeah. And the fact that he goes to community college. Do you think he's, generally speaking, a smart guy? Or is he just smarter than the rest of the hood rats?
I think, generally speaking, he's a good guy. Because he's...
You mean smart guy.
Smart guy. I do mean smart guy.
He's not a good guy. He's not a good guy.
You not mean good guy. I don't know why I said good guy. Oh, no. No, I do not think he's a good guy. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah, generally speaking, I think he's a smart guy. 5 seasons of being on the radar of these police task force, and he's playing the game really well.
Well, the show was on for 5 seasons.
Oh, yeah. And
Stringer was not a part of all 5 of those.
That's right.
Without giving too much away.
No, yeah.
A lot of the first season put the audience on the corner with Wallace, with D'Angelo. At the West Side housing projects, especially. Do you think it was a good call to have so little of the second season take place there?
Yeah, because it's not a sitcom, right? It can't be the same thing week in and week out. That world, the corner out in the streets, that's established. Again, not to give too much away, we need more of that inside, because that inside also goes away too, I think.
Normally I would think that, but if any show could have built on the success of that environment from the first season, I give them the benefit of the doubt. I bet they could have made it engaging if they brought us back there. I'm not saying focus the entire season on it, but more than they do this season. What's your favorite scene in this arc?
It's hard to not say Cheese burning a car, because the gentleman who may or may not play Cheese is pretty good at doing it. I'm going to say the car burning because it's a good interaction between both them and the dock workers. I'll tie it with anything with... I'm glad you said Prop Joe, because I was going to call him Prop Joe, too.
Well, he is. His full street name is Proposition Joe, but they call him Prop Joe.
Yeah. I think at this point he's in, 2 scenes, maybe 3 scenes? And you really get a sense of who this guy is.
This is another one of those things where they just add and add to the tapestry without having seen any other season. You can just go to the bank with, oh, there's going to be more with Prop Joe and Cheese. They never just do these one-offs.
Everybody means something.
8 episodes in, I'm having trouble figuring out what the Barksdale story is actually supposed to be about. Do you know what it is? And I don't mean the plot points. Like, obviously I get what's going on scene to scene, but like, what's the point of it?
Oh, that's tougher. 'Cause it's easier to just say plot points. It's about how everybody's a little dirty. Like, anyone in power in the show abuses their power. Especially after season 1 and it being all just street gangs. It's nice to see a different type of community falling into the crime problem.
That was really interesting when Bodie's one of the street lieutenants and he's complaining because they don't have good dope and all the fiends are at lunchtime. They're going from the west side to the east side. So at the beginning of the season, we see some of the projects, what it's like, and then midway into the season when he's complaining about it, you notice how the court looks much nicer and people are hanging out more because there are less drug deals going on.
Yeah.
But Bodie's complaining about it.
Yeah, because he's not making his money.
Oh boy, it's so sad.
His neighborhood's too nice. Can't sell drugs in a nice neighborhood.
He doesn't give one crap about his own community.
He's there to make money.
Never mind that he's of that block. Those are his people.
2 of which he fired because business was slow.
And then you notice they joined another set.
As soon as the rivals came out, because he was posted up on their corner, they were in the background. And I love that they didn't make a thing of it. They were just there.
Yeah, if you're not paying attention, you're not going to notice that.
You weren't going to see them.
Disloyalty is another running theme, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, those guys got to get paid. I think they were right to ask for a severance package.
You could probably name on one hand the number of characters throughout the entire series that stay loyal no matter what, that never roll over. Forget that I've seen the other seasons. Just off how much they're used in Season 2, the Barksdale scenes are all set up for Season 3. There's not enough meat there for dinner, but if you call it an appetizer for what's coming later, then it makes sense.
It's an amuse-bouche. They were the main course of Season 1, and now they're the palate cleanser.
I think they were really misused this year.
I could see that. I liked it that they took a back seat and expanded the world around them using the dock workers.
That's something I'll always compliment the show on, and part of its dynamism. Compared to shows from the 80s, 90s, leading into the early 2000s, you wouldn't normally see stuff that wasn't on HBO that would take chances and say, oh, you like this whole cast of characters from Season 1? Well, only half of them are really going to get anything to play with Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
You really like the streets? Oh no, we're going to go to the docks next. Deal with it.
Too bad.
While it maintains the integrity of the show, I think that definitely hurt them in the ratings. Thinking outside the box like that, it helped them endure decades later, but at the time, I don't think people wanted that necessarily. They weren't as into the fact that, oh, how could you give me less string? Give me more string.
String's studying. He's got midterms.
Like, he was one of the frickin' sex symbols of the show. He was. They were doing some panels. Audience members, they would start with, look, Stringer is just a beautiful man. And then they'd go into their question. Because there are a couple of cheesecake shots with him. They're very equal opportunity with the nudity, aren't they?
Yeah. It's for everybody. How many times have we seen McNulty butt naked?
Maybe too many times for his own good.
I would argue, yeah, too many times.
In these episodes, did you catch any symbolism?
Definitely McNulty intentionally hitting the underpass pylon a second time. They really got to drive home the self-destructiveness of it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here. When I was watching that scene, he hits the pillar, he steps out of his car, and then you see him looking at the trajectory of the vehicle as it hit. In his drunken stupor, Was that like him trying to be a cop again?
I think so.
Doing his own little crime investigation, even though he knows exactly how it happened, he did it?
He's getting the angle down. He's trying to check all the angles, and then recreation.
He's the Force's version of Ziggy.
No, he's not that annoying.
He's not annoying, but he makes as many wrong turns, pun intended. I laughed when Stringer's talking about companies that have bad reputations with a Zecon professor. And the takeaway is that one solution to a bad rep is changing the name. And then in the same episode, we see McNulty go to a government building where they're swapping out the INS seal for the DHS seal. If anyone missed that allusion to the previous scene, they may not be smart enough to watch The Wire.
No.
And it's also like, oh, David Simon, I see what you're doing there.
Look at that Homeland Security in it.
He loves to skewer institutions and criticize American politics. He still does.
But that's in the context of the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't go into any details.
True.
I'm giving myself a pass. McNulty and Bunk, they have another late-night drink on the railroad tracks, which is a recurring image throughout the series. What do you think is the significance of those tracks?
Generally, in cities, from one side of the tracks to the other, it determines your lot in life.
Ooh, I hadn't considered that. I like it.
Ooh, what'd you come up with?
I think of the train and those tracks as the futility of doing things as usual. You got McNulty, who in that scene he wants to get onto the special detail, but we've seen time and time again that the police work leads to boozing and philandering. It's not like a train is going to come out of nowhere. All he has to do is say, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to stop doing what triggers my destructive behavior. But getting taken in by Daniels is the opposite of that. He was better off on the boat. If he made the right choices, the train wouldn't be able to get him, so he's chosen to stand on the tracks, and inevitably he's going to get run over.
Okay.
This might sound crazy, but for a show with dozens of recurring characters, do you think there are any characters that are missing, ones that could help flesh out certain aspects of each main arc?
Maybe more street-level guys with the Barksdale crew, but they did get to that. They added that.
They added it, but they didn't really give those guys any scenes to play.
The last episode so far didn't even have Stringer or any of the higher-ups. It was just the lower guys.
Well, but those lower guys... Okay, I recognize Bodie. I don't think Shamrock showed up. He was the guy that was in the car with Bodie in the first episode.
Yes.
He's not there. And I wouldn't mind knowing more about him, especially with that nickname. I want a dude that made it out of the neighborhood and didn't end up on the docks with everyone else. Just give me one example of someone that went to college. They do mention Frank has a son that went to community college. How about a scene between that guy and Ziggy?
That would work. Yeah, we finally met Frank's brother, who I'm assuming is Ziggy's dad.
No, Frank's brother is Nick's dad.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
And what about Ziggy's mom? I wouldn't mind meeting Frank's wife.
Yeah, it'd be really nice to know more about her, just so we knew more about Ziggy.
The pier workers are portrayed so badly as far as being stuck in tradition. I need a little variety to lighten things up. Come on, David Simon, you've shown us others that were born in poverty and got out. Where's the stevedores kid that made good?
Yeah, he's failing us. Or he doesn't like the stevedores.
Out of this batch of episodes, which storyline do you think is given the best scenes or advancement?
The meat and the potatoes is the dock workers. They're the main course.
Really? Let me disagree with you. I think the most progress in this middle of the season, I think it was mostly the police. Because the docks and underworld stuff, it's not bringing anything new to the table. how the prostitutes are run, how the cops are going to get the dirt. That feels like it shines the most when we see Nick get more into the drugs. We see they do a lot of stuff with Ziggy and Maui. They have their personal rivalry on the docks, and they pull pranks on each other. But does any of that really move their story along?
I think it informs who they are as a group.
Yeah, it does. It does put more pressure on Frank because in the beginning of the season, he wanted to pull away from the Greek. Now, especially with Nick dealing drugs, that makes it a lot harder. Is there a chance that Spiros could turn Nick away from Frank? Because like we said, disloyalty, that's a common theme.
And Nick definitely is getting a taste of the good life. And he's being good at it.
So we're 2/3 into the second season. Do you have any criticisms heading into the last 4 shows?
It almost feels like the pace is a little weird. Like I said, in hindsight, I'm liking where it's going, but it still does feel slow.
What sections of it?
I feel like the cops should be further into their investigation. We just got the wiretaps approved. Frank now is turning around and immediately realizing the cops are onto him.
Like we talked about, they did just realize they keep digital records of what goes on at the docks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a mid-season reveal. There's a criticism of Bunk and Freeman at the beginning of the investigation when they're talking to Rawls that I think I agree with. How far they should be in their investigation. When they just let that ship leave because the sailors are giving them the runaround, they're all foreigners, they're pretending not to know English, I think they should have kept that ship.
Yeah, they should have. Especially the colonel, right? He wants to clear these 13 murders. Why aren't you keeping that ship if you really want to clear those murders?
And it's like, okay, so they're pretending not to know English. Bring translators. You got a dozen dead girls. I think that's enough justification to keep that ship.
Exactly.
Or at least try to make a stink about it, and then if some lawyer gets involved and stops them, well, fine. But the fact that they just let it go because they were made fools of in that one funny scene, it's like,
Shame on them.
My big criticism, I'm reminded of the title of episode 6, which is all prologue. That's exactly what the inclusion of the Barksdale characters is in Season 2. All prologue, laying the groundwork for Season 3. And if that's all it needs to do, and they don't give them enough screen time for anything more than that, I think they should have done it differently. John, here's my pitch, alright?
Alright.
Let's see if you like it. Okay, now, close your eyes, go into a Hollywood fantasy land with me, where I give you an alternate presentation. Episode 1 to about episode 7 or 8. Any scene with the Barksdale crew, not including Omar. Center it around D'Angelo. Show us prison life, almost like they're doing a crossover with that other HBO gem, Oz. Have D struggling with incarceration. Does he hang with Weebay? The other gang members in lockup, do they know he almost flipped state's witness? How about he has another uncle in prison, and it's a case of Christmas future? Him dying this season is only significant because of the time we spent with him in Season 1. The cheese, lowercase c, has congealed on his pizza. I don't like the flavor of the leftovers as much as I'm remembering how it tasted when it was piping hot and fresh.
But it's fucked because the man got to where he needed to be, and she wasn't even worth it. Daisy wasn't nothing past any other bitch anyway, you know? And he did all that for her, and in the end, it didn't amount to shit.
Fitzgerald said that there were no second acts in American lives. Do you believe that?
Man, shit, we locked up. We best not believe that, right?
She's saying that the past is always with us. And where we come from, what we go through, how we go through it, all this shit matters. I mean, that's what I thought he meant.
Go ahead.
Like at the end of the book, you know? boats and tides and all. It's like you can change up, right? You can say you somebody new, you can give yourself a whole new story. But what came first is who you really are. And what happened before is what really happened. And it don't matter that some fool say you different, because the only thing that make you different is what you really do or what you really go through. Like, you know, like all them books in his library. Now, he fronting with all them books. But if we pull one down off the shelf, ain't none of the pages ever been open. He got all them books, and he ain't read near one of them. Gatsby, he was who he was, and he did what he did. And because he wasn't ready to get real with the story, that shit caught up to him. I mean, I think, anyway.
What a disservice to that actor and character to bring him on for all of 15 minutes before they kill him. And the other beats, the weak supply of dope, holding onto the towers, Prop Joe, that could easily be inserted in the last 3 or 4 episodes. Don't bring in Stringer until the plot to kill D'Angelo, which in my version wouldn't happen until episode 8 or 9 out of these 12. Because the final episode is great how it is, I wouldn't want to add too many deaths, which might dilute the impact of the ones we got there. What do you say, John? Would you watch my reimagining?
I'd give you the time of day, yeah.
Because just in my pitch of centering it in prison, when you think of that, do you go, but there's so many great scenes on the outside with Stringer that we wouldn't get this season?
I do miss me some Stringer. I already miss Stringer in your version, but I'm not saying it's bad.
The stuff you remember from this season, couldn't you condense it to 2 or 3 appearances?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you could, thinking about it. It almost feels like it already is 2 or 3 appearances.
Respectfully to the writers of The Wire, I think they failed in how they proportioned the Barksdale story into this season. There are a lot of scenes with them, not relative to the other stories, but just general screen time. They have a sizable amount. If we stayed more in prison with D'Angelo, because they love to set up stuff that doesn't get paid off for seasons, how about D'Angelo make some friends with some other inmates, and while he's trying to repent, he's trying to get them to stop being crooks, because they're going to get out soon and he's not. But at the end of the day, you know, they are who they are. They're like, no, I love the life. And then we could set up that backstory, and then they could appear in season 3 or season 4. They've gotten out. They're part of Barksdale's crew or some other group. You know, and then that way you could go, oh, I remember that guy. You could play Where's Waldo. I remember him. And I'm almost setting up Cuddy. They do a little bit of this where you meet some characters in prison first, and then they go out on the outside. How about set up a little bit of that earlier in season 2?
Print it. Send it in.
Yeah. HBO Max, come on. You need to be remastering The Wire, shooting new scenes, inserting them awkwardly. Like it's the Star Wars special editions.
Oh, the characters are clearly older for 5 seconds here and there.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Hayden Christensen's ghost shows up in one scene. They're at a funeral, and then Avon looks to the side, and it's D'Angelo's Force ghost.
He's just chilling.
Yeah. Do you think he's mad at Avon, or does he give him that little smile like they do at the end of Return of the Jedi?
I think he's mad.
Yeah, but once you're a Force ghost, what do you care?
Someone's gotta care. Just because Anakin got away with genocide and dictatorship doesn't everyone happy with him.
I guess karma doesn't exist in that universe, that galaxy far, far away.
I guess not, no.
All is forgiven. D'Angelo, since he does die in this batch of episodes, what do you think of that character, his story, the conclusion?
It's sad. Tragic. Like, ignoring the state's witness stuff, he definitely wants to get better. I think he was going to be better, and that's why he died, because he's no longer of value to the story if he's a good person.
Oh yeah, 99% of characters on The Wire, if they're about to make a positive change in their life, especially if they're on the street side of it, you know they're going to get got.
Yeah, they're done. It's over.
Goodness cannot prevail. Well then, join us next time as we watch episode 9 through 12, the finale to this special TSC retrospective on The Wire, Season 2. My co-host, John, say goodbye to the folks at home.
Goodbye, everybody.
Down and ho. Down and ho.
You've reached the end of this episode of The Screen Companion. Thank you for listening.